So typically, after a release of my Miro Event Modeling Toolkit, I try to showcase the most important features, and this time I will show you 3 features and I will preview one that will come in the next release. Let's go! Now let's jump straight to our event modeling tooling in Miro. So what we have here is, this is our tooling. I can place the events here and I can say, let's say we have something like an invoice paid. Now the first thing I will show you is the preview of a feature that will be in the next release. And this one was directly requested by the community. So what we have here is, we can add something like an amount, and now look closely, I can just add plus here and the invoice is already updated. No more clicking save, it will update automatically. Same if you want to remove a field, you can just do it directly, it just works. So let's re-add this field. We can have an amount and we can have the invoice ID, and we can say the invoice ID is an ID and it's technical. Technical means I don't show it. So the field is here, but I don't show it. That's not a new feature, that's just, that was part of the last release. That is already pretty nice and will save a ton of time, but there's more. Now let's say we have a second event here, something like order fulfilled. So the customer had an order, and now we have something like the fulfilled order. And let's say we have a read model here, which says open orders. Now, what we have here is, we can have the order ID. And now what we can do is, we can just connect these elements here, both to the read model, and we can go to the connection and say copy fields. Save it. And now you can again say copy fields, save it. And what will happen is, it will just copy over the fields from both elements here to the read model. Before this release, this was always a replace. You can still use replace when you click this button here, replace fields, but if you say copy, it will just add the missing fields to the element. You can always check what has changed by just looking at the change log. So we have this release here, so we have the complex types, we have allowed to select multiple slices at once and allowed to copy and replace fields. Now what does it mean to select multiple slices at once? Let's say we have a state change slice here. And let's say we have another state change slice here. One is pay invoice, one is fulfill order. 2 state change slices here. And what we can do is, we make them slices by just selecting them. And here we do exactly the same. Now we have 2 slices here. What we now can do is, we can select multiple slices, just select them, and you can select all the elements within these slices, and now you can move as many slices as you want with one selection, which is pretty neat. You can move all the slices to the right, place a slice in between in the middle, and then move all the slices back. If you are used to working with Miro, you know that this is one of the biggest pain points. The bigger the model gets, the harder it is to maintain it, and these tiny little tools help you to really work extremely fast in your event models. Now last but not least, we have complex types. So what are complex types? If you have your invoice here, we could say we have a list of invoice items. So an invoice item could be of type custom. And now with this release, you can define what is the schema of this invoice item. For example, we could say an invoice item has an ID, which is of type string, and also has an amount, like that, which is of type, let's say it's a double. Should be a decimal, would be better. Now, if we save this, and we can make this a list. Now we have a list of invoice items, and we have defined the schema of this invoice item, and the whole tooling works with these complex types, so you can even work with validation. So for example, we can say we have an invoice item ID. Now if we select the read model and we say invoice item ID is mapped from invoice items .id, you can use the dot syntax for this. Just save it, and now everything works again, and we can make this read model another slice. Now we have 3 slices, we can make them equal height, equal width. Now everything looks great, we have our 3 slices and everything is wonderful. Supporting complex types was on my roadmap basically since I started working on this tool set. And now it's available. None of these other features are revolutionary, but each and every one of them saves a little bit of time. And if I build in enough of these time savers, you will start to love this tooling. And I think we are pretty close to that. If you work with Miro and event modeling, it simply doesn't make any sense to not work with this tooling. Not sure you saw it, there is an online course implementing event sourcing, and if you buy this online course, it includes a full lifetime license, no additional cost for this tooling. So buy the course and then you can work with this tooling as long as you want, there is no additional fee.